When they say nice guys finish last, Guehi is a perfect example. I'm telling you guys, when it comes to the Premier League and the transfer window, because we are bringing to you guys today the craziest transfer stories that happened in the Premier League this summer. Guehi is a perfect example of the best friend that has been waiting on the doorstep, the best friend that has been absolutely been in the friend zone for every single time, the guy that is always being the nice guy. There's a difference between nice and kind, but the guy that's always being the nice guy to her always finishes last, my brother. And I'm going to be giving you guys why Guehi is currently still at Crystal Palace with the transfer window shut on his face. So without further ado, let's get into this, because we are going to be talking about the likes of Nicolas Jackson, talking about the likes of Victor Osimhen, Alexander Isak, Ekitike, Senne Lammens. We are going to be speaking about the craziest transfers in the Premier League right now. But without further ado, let's get this party started. Hey, yo! First things first. First things first with this situation. Guehi, the perfect pro, the guy, the captain of Crystal Palace. He already did a big one for them the day before, scoring a perfect goal, a screamer of a goal for Crystal Palace. I think it was against, who was it for? Against Aston Villa? It was perfect. Crystal, perfect. Finesse the ball, round the goalkeeper in the back of the post. He goes, he slides, he celebrates, he lays on the ground, because this feels like the last time. And what a story ending it will be for scoring on your last day of playing for Crystal Palace. A place that you have absolutely gone, captained them into getting the FA Cup, and them actually happy for you going to Liverpool. And on this deadline day, Liverpool literally bid £35 million plus some add-ons or some clause. And he went to Liverpool. He went to Liverpool. He has finished passing his medical. Him and his family are in the hotel waiting for the green lights from Crystal Palace to have this go ahead. But the truth about it is deadline day. He's the captain. He's the starting centre-back of Crystal Palace. And so Crystal Palace were like, okay, go and get a replacement in Igor. But Igor doesn't want to go to Crystal Palace. Igor decides, I don't want to go to Crystal Palace. I want to go to West Ham and play for Graham Potter instead of me playing for, what's his name? The coach of Crystal Palace. He absolutely shuns Crystal Palace, and that deal falls through. But the truth about it is that Oliver Glasner, that's the name. Oliver Glasner was not going to go into the season without a centre-back. It was not going to happen. And so what happened was, Crystal Palace says, I'm so sorry, Guehi. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I am so sorry. But you can't leave because we don't have a centre-back. And so you have to stay. And Guehi has to tuck his tail between his legs after a dream transfer was on the table and go right back to Crystal Palace. Now the truth about this situation is that Crystal Palace are also going to lose something. Yes, you're going to gain your leader and your captain still playing for you this season, but now you're not going to be able to actually get the 35 million that you were meant to get, because next season he is a free agent and he can go wherever he wants to go. Now this is a risk for Guehi because he can get injured, he can literally be out of form, and Liverpool would not want to get him, and Liverpool could, after signing Leone, could be like, yeah, we already have a replacement and we don't need you anymore. So it's a risk on each part, but it's quite sad that the nice guy finished last. I don't even think he finished at this point. He basically just decided, well, I'm just gonna watch. That's what he did. He just watched. He's just watching with his hand in his pants. But the truth about this situation is that the opposite is direct. Still Liverpool in the business. Alexander Isak. One of the craziest stories in the Premier League this season. He comes out and says, hey, I want to leave Newcastle. It was quite simple, quite fair. But the background about this situation was unfulfilled promises. unfulfilled promises from the club to Alexander Isak. Isak being paid, so underpaid, and my goodness, it is crazy when you talk about Alexander Isak's pay and the caliber of player that he is and how much they are actually making. And so Isak absolutely kicks up a fuss. He kicks the ground. He moans and moans and moans, comes out with a public statement, gets fined, doesn't get invited to the barbecue, and then he gets invited to the barbecue by Alisson. By the way, I'm absolutely waiting for that picture because I want Alisson to absolutely break the internet and invite Isak to a barbecue session. If you do not know, Newcastle has this thing, especially before a season, where every single person is invited to a barbecue, player especially. But this year, Alexander Isak was not invited. And so the whole situation is getting crazy and it keeps on talking. It goes up to a point where Alexander Isak told every person, I am never going to put on a Newcastle shirt again. He literally says, I'm never going to put on a Newcastle shirt again. And in that situation, Newcastle knew that the writing was on the wall. It was straight up. And so they said, at the end, we are going to accept what Liverpool gives us in a second bid in £125 million, which basically broke the record. Bear in mind, Liverpool broke the record before. This is another twist to this drama. They broke the record at the start of the transfer window with Florian Wirtz, £115 million. Is it £150 million or 100 something? But they went in again and broke the record that they already set with Alexander Isak. But the truth about it is that he is worth it. He is absolutely worth it. A baller of every kind of high caliber in terms of a striker. And in a situation where there is a shortage of strikers, you just have to give it to them. You have to. You just have to give it to them. And then when you're talking about strikers in the Premier League and the drama that comes with it, it's time for us to talk about Nicolas Jackson. Nicolas Jackson, this was a storied, absolutely storied time. Because Nicolas Jackson was Chelsea's number 9 last season. In the past 2 seasons, Nicolas Jackson has been able to record double-digit goals, something that a lot of strikers cannot say in the Premier League. But what happens? What happens this summer? Chelsea absolutely discards Nicolas Jackson, like as if he's like, move. You know how you wave a nasty far away? That's what they were waving Nicolas Jackson away. Why did they do that? Because they had bought Liam Delap, someone from Ipswich, 12 goals a season, or that season. A really good player, by the way. But they discarded him. And then they went in again and bought João Pedro. Don't get me wrong, I think these 2 players are absolutely right for the system Maresca is trying to play. But the way you treat Nicolas Jackson, especially when he started in the Club World Cup, and they never got a single minute after that, the moment João Pedro came in. Now, Chelsea won the Club World Cup, so every single thing in that idea was right. They made the right decision. He absolutely came. João Pedro came, gave his 2 goals. Liam Delap came, absolutely disturbed defenses, and Chelsea won the Club World Cup. But then it gets to the time when it's time for Nicolas Jackson to make his move. Surprise move, by the way, may I add, to Bayern Munich, the champion of Germany, of the Bundesliga. You get me? When it was time to make his move to Bayern Munich, all of a sudden, tragically, people, Liam Delap gets a hamstring injury. And Chelsea comes back and says, oh, wait a second, hold up, wait a minute. You told I was finished? They say, nah, bruh. We need a backup number 9. We need a backup number 9. By the way, at this time they are saying this, Nicolas Jackson is already in Munich. He's already ready to do his... In fact, he had finished his medical. It was ready to sign the deal and for him to be on loan. Bear in mind, this loan move was up for 15 million euros. 15 million euros, around 8 to 9 million pounds. And then Chelsea was like, nah, bro, come back, fly back to London because we need you here at Chelsea. we are not willing to buy another player right now. We need you here at Chelsea. And guess what Nicolas Jackson said? We his agent. Nah, bro, we ain't coming back. You discarded me? Nah, bro. This is not a situation where we ride back the block. No, we are not riding back the block. You broke up with me. There's no way I'm going back there. You get me? There's no way I'm going back there. So Nicolas Jackson said, nah, bro. You stay over there. I stay over here. And I'm saying that literally. Now I'm going to paraphrase that part. But he literally posted it on his Instagram. If you were over there, stay over there. Because the people over here, we are over here. There's no going back. And then, of course, the agent literally said, the plane has flown forward. There's no coming back. You get me? There's no coming back. And so they were absolutely dogging. And then Mark Abel, who is the CEO of Bayern, literally said, okay, I guess we have to go back to negotiate. I'm sorry, I'm sweating because of these stories are too crazy. But don't worry, we'll absolutely bring you the best. You get me? And so Mark Abel literally goes and says, hey, Chelsea, we want this boy. He wants here. He doesn't want to come back to Chelsea. Let's make a deal. And now they make a deal. Instead of 15 million euros, it jacks up a little bit to 16.2, right? But it isn't just that. Not just that. After you see the whole idea of 16.2, then slide in a conversation about an obligation to buy or an option to buy. And that is where it gets a little crazy. Because now Nicolas Jackson got the here we go again. And now he's for Bayern Munich. And he's going to be playing his season Bayern Munich. So that's the crazy part of that situation. Of course, when we are talking about Victor Osimhen, every single person was linked to Chelsea. Every single person linked Victor Osimhen to Chelsea. That didn't happen. And then everyone turned around and said, the Nigerian wants money. The Nigerian wants money. He's probably going to go to Saudi. That didn't happen. And then all of a sudden, Manchester United is in the race. But Manchester United cannot pay what he wants in terms of wages. Why can't he drop his wages down? That didn't happen. And then what happens next is Galatasaray, the team that he played on loan for, the team that showed him the love that Napoli decided not to show him the previous years. By the way, we all know what Napoli did in that social media thing that they did. It's not something we are going to forget anytime soon. So, it's a situation where he now tends, and nobody's going to give him credit for this because that's what we are going to do here on Pillar Sports. He says, you showed me loyalty and I'm going to show you back. And he goes directly back to Galatasaray when nobody expected it to happen. Nobody expected him to go to Galatasaray because everyone expected he has to go to the biggest of the clubs. He has to go to the biggest of clubs. There's no way you will say that Victor Osimhen, one of the most prolific strikers in the world, will end up in Turkey in his prime years. But he did. And I'm very grateful for that. I am very grateful for that. And then we move to Senne Lammens. Senne Lammens. You understand? Because Senne Lammens is a little bit different. It's a little different for Senne Lammens. The reason why it's different is because this is a goalkeeper that has absolutely fought to stay. He was touted to go to Barcelona, touted to go to Real Madrid, touted so many places when he was 18 years of age, but he decided to stay at Royal Antwerp to fight for his place. Come, let me tell you something. There was a time he was playing and the person ahead of him was the good old Liverpool goalkeeper, Simon Millionaire. I mean Mignonnet. What was that his name? That's how you pronounce it. Mignonnet. And he stayed and he fought. And he fought and he stayed. And he became the Royal Antwerp #1. Royal Antwerp #1. Now this is a situation where Manchester United are coming into the final day, the deadline day, with two goalkeepers absolutely shit in the bed. With two goalkeepers absolutely not knowing what confidence is or how to spell it. And so Manchester United had to do something. We need to get a goalkeeper. And then the conversation of Emi Martínez comes into play. Emi Martínez has literally told Aston Villa, hey, goodbye, na. But then he's like, nope, psych, I lied. I'm back in the Premier League. He kept for them in the first 2 games. And then all of a sudden, Manchester United said, hey, are you still available? And he says, goodbye. All of a sudden, Emi Martínez is not in the team for Aston Villa. And then Marco Bisvoet goes to play against Crystal Palace. And then, of course, we saw 3-0. But then this situation is that Manchester United are looking at Emi Martínez as the second option, because their first option is still Senne Lammens. And so when Manchester United are like, hey, Senne Lammens, if you do not want to accept, or if Royal Antwerp doesn't want to work with us, we have Emi Martínez. But then in this conversation with Emi Martínez, it was just about Emi Martínez. It was also about Jadon Sancho to Aston Villa and Martinez to Manchester United. So it was going to be some kind of swap deal with money being exchanged. But then, of course, the freedom fighter, you understand? The freedom fighter that we all love wholly and dearly. The guy that is absolutely playing house with the beautiful, voluptuous sweetie decides he doesn't want to get rid of the groundbreaking money that Manchester United pays him. And so that deal falls through. But Manchester United are still conversating with Emi Martínez. Still conversating with Emi Martínez saying, hey, bruv, let's make this thing happen. But hold on, we have something in the pot first. And then what happens in the dying minutes? Royal Antwerp agrees a deal with a little bit of add-ons in the back end for £18.2 million, with funds of 3.2, I believe, for Senne Lammens to go to Manchester United. And then what happens next? Emi Martínez is caught with his hands in his pants. What do? Are you going to still say goodbye? But no, that's not a situation, because the transfer window is closed now. The only transfer window that is still open is Saudi and Turkey. And then now the situation is that we are hearing rumors about Galatasaray going for Emi Martínez. The truth about this situation is that it's quite tough. It is quite tough because Emi Martínez has literally been caught with things that he did not expect was going to happen. But now, that is the craziest transfer window. If you guys want me to do a part 2 to this, comment down below, because this was absolutely fun doing. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Do not forget to turn on your notifications, because that's the only way you know that we at Pillar Sports have posted. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.